So this is a podcast about the opposition to the Bolsheviks. And it looks like I'm not looking at you because the camera's over here, but I'm looking at myself because I'm vain like that. Anyway, the main first opposition to the Bolsheviks that you need to be aware of, and all of this is in the textbooks after, all the information you can be found in the textbooks after page 61, was the Civil War, of course, because people were not happy that the Bolsheviks had seized power. We know from the elections of 1917 that they weren't the most popular party, and the Whites and the Greens were people who ranged against them. The Whites generally made up of people who used to have power, nobility, people with a bit of money who could get some backing. The Whites often had the support of foreign countries like America, Britain, France. And the Greens were largely armies made up of peasants. But it's all confused, mixed in together, because some peasants would have been forced to fight for the Whites and vice versa. In the end, largely because of Trotsky's organisational skills, and because the Reds had the advantage of the centre of Russia, they managed to overcome that and win the Civil War. Also, whilst this was going on, there were leading Bolsheviks who were a bit upset about things. So Zinoviev, Kamenev and Rykov, find them names in the book, were a coalition who joined together to try to say that they should join with other revolutionary types like the Mensheviks or the Socialist Revolutionaries to have a more representative government. Lenin sort of tried to embarrass them, make them sound stupid, and basically politically bullied them into accepting that cooperation with other parties was just not acceptable. There was also, I've told you about this before, you've got left communists, you've got right communists. Well, the group of left communists, of course, led by Trotsky, which we've said, they thought that the new economic policy was a betrayal of the revolution. But before that, when war communism and all the grain requisitioning was going on, the right communists, they said that there should not be this grain requisitioning and this war communism. It needs to change. And they kind of got what they wanted with the new economic policy of Lenin's period, because that had elements of capitalism, which the lefts would have said, this is a betrayal of the revolution. But it happened. So I'm looking at my notes over here to check that I tell you everything that I need to tell you as quickly as I can. When Lenin died, there was a bit of a power struggle. It wasn't necessarily opposition, it was opposition between the groups, of course. But it's something to be aware of, because on the one side you've kind of got the Trotsky group, and on the other side you've got the Stalin group. But Stalin managed to get Kamenev and Zinoviev on his side to oppose Trotsky, who they were a bit upset and of Trotsky's growing power. So Stalin, Kamenev and Zinoviev were part of a group which would be called the Troika, Troika, and they wanted socialism in one country. They kind of supported the new economic policy. Trotsky wanted permanent worldwide revolution and wanted nothing to do with the new economic policy, which was a betrayal of the revolution, as we've said. And Stalin won out. Also, Stalin was opposition really by the end of Lenin's life, because Lenin had criticised Stalin for his role in the Georgian affair, with an incident happening in Georgia. Look it up in the textbooks. Anyway, Stalin managed to become in the ascendancy, to get more power. Kamenev and Zinoviev must have gone, oh no, he has got too much power, he's overtaken too far, we need to sort him out. And so Kamenev and Zinoviev decided to try to oppose Stalin. It really didn't work, and this was in 1926, and both of them were removed as secretaries, which is like, you're not having any power anymore. Then Stalin, now he's got rid of the powerful people. The most powerful were probably Trotsky, Zinoviev and Kamenev. He'd teamed up with those two and then turned on them when they turned against him. Then he expanded the Politburo from 6 to 8 members, and you can imagine who the new members would have supported. That's right, Stalin. So Kamenev and Zinoviev must have contacted Trotsky and said, hey look, we're really sorry that we opposed you. Now we think he has got too much power. How about we join together? They're like, yeah, okay, we'll make the United Opposition Group and we'll stop this Stalin guy. They opposed the new economic policy, demanded free speech, and the result of that was they were excluded from the Politburo. I imagine they went, oh damn. They were expelled. Well, Trotsky was expelled from the party. The other two were allowed to stay in the party. Trotsky was exiled from the country and eventually killed with an ice pick in Mexico in 1940 from an assassin sent by the Soviets. Kamenev and Zinoviev, incidentally, well, they survived to be continuing members of the party until the mid-1930s when Stalin had them executed. So they didn't last too long. As for the rest of the population, and not just the people at the top, well, we've talked about this. By 1953, 5.5 million people were in the gulags, which is mental. Anyone could be and were accused of all sorts of things. The powerful people could be accused of being oppositionist, which means you were people opposed to the revolution, but really, if you were accused of being an oppositionist, it's like you're not opposing the revolution, really, though that's what we're going to officially say you're doing. It's anybody who opposed Stalin. Even on the people on the Politburo could be accused of that, and the charge usually ended with death by firing squad. Kirov is a good name. Kirov, nice short one, is a good name to remember as somebody who was denounced as an oppositionist. Fast forward to Khrushchev. Compared to the Gulag thing of 1953, there were only 11,000 people in gulags for political crimes by 1959. So that's a big reduction, but not getting rid of it altogether. Khrushchev, well, he had a bit of opposition from abroad. He sent tanks into Hungary in 1956. And also he dismissed popular politicians who didn't follow the party line, like Zhukov or Bulganin. Zhukov, Z-H-U-K-O-V. The anti-party group, made of Malenkov, Molotov and Kaganovich, tried to get rid of Khrushchev. Look this up in the textbook for the names. And we've actually got it on a Khrushchev podcast if you want to listen to that. They attempted to oust Khrushchev from power, and he didn't have them shot or anything. He wasn't like Stalin like that. He had them demoted to embarrassing positions. A bit like, Molotov was made ambassador to Mongolia. So when Khrushchev was finally removed from power, he was the only one of the Russian rulers who was able to retire and live in peace. All the rest that we've studied have either been removed from power forcibly, or died whilst they were in power. There's some opposition to the Bolsheviks for you. You need to use that information in conjunction with what's in the book. And if you've got any questions, actually tweet me if you want to, because I'll be able to respond to them if I'm just sat around in a hospital or something. So I hope that was useful. Use the books as well. Any questions, you can tweet me. I suppose you can write them down and ask me when you see me next time. Okay, smashing. Enjoy. Bye.